Welcome back to JDA's Floral Friday Tips and Techniques on Interviewing. In this conversation, we're going to continue within the realm of tell me about yourself. In the first one, we talked about the why that question gets asked. And in the second one, we talked about how to summarize your experience in 2 or 3 lines. And today we're going to discuss how to package some of your accomplishments in, again, a 2-line summary. So if you think about it, once you introduce your experience, now it's drawing the relevancy of what you've done to the position. And there's a lot of theory out there on what people do and what people could do. But what I found in my 40 years in recruiting is nothing stronger than a direct example of something that you've accomplished that ties back to the job. And that's like a relevant accomplishment. Now, the way that I like to see an accomplishment defined is kind of a multi-step. The first thing is you got to define what the problem was. What was it that you were solving? And then the second part is what you did to solve the problem. And the third part is what outcomes were there. Outcomes hopefully are measurable and something that's specific. Measurable could be cost savings, productivity enhancements, something that you can really tie your hands to. We want to talk in I's, and we could talk we's, but we're really trying to tie what your role in that project would be. So let's take our security person, because that's what we were working on yesterday. And let's talk about maybe one of the projects that they had. We found that a lot of companies grow through acquisition, and a lot of times you inherit organizations that probably don't have the same platform as you do. And there's an associated cost associated with supporting non-standard platforms. So let's give an example of that and talk about how you solve that problem. So that would go something like, in my current position as a global security architect, we have over 400 remote locations that we acquired through acquisitions, and the support cost on them was high because of the non-standard configuration that we were using in our remote locations. So my role in the company was to architect a new solution, and what we did is we designed, architected, and deployed Palo Alto firewalls to over 400 locations. And over the course of the last 2 years, what we found is that our support cost was reduced by 25%. So what we just did there is we gave a real example of a problem, what you did about it, and what the outcomes were. It wasn't a theoretical of what I would do in this situation, but it's a real life problem. This we found to be more effective than talking in theory. As you go through your resume, there's a lot of different accomplishments that you might have had, and those problems and solutions become interchangeable depending upon what the job is. So my suggestion is look back at your background and come up with a variety of interchangeable components that you can insert into that in order to come up with a full range of problems that you've solved depending upon what the client's situation is. So that's step 2 in the 30-second presentation, which is give an example of a problem you solved and how you've added value. Next week, we're going to talk about your job focus and interest. So until then, have a great weekend, and we'll look forward to next Floral Friday's presentation.